What's up with YouTube? Kobe NBA West, another video. Time for change. Hey, that was one of President Obama's main slogans back when he was campaigning for office. It's a real vague phrase, but it means so many things on so many levels, and that's why it's relevant to me. It's time for change of thinking, attitude, perspective, outlook, the whole nine. It's a new day, a new dawn. It's time for a new man, Renaissance man. See, we are raised in this post-feminist world that we call Western society, where supposedly men and women are not just supposed to be equal, but fundamentally the same, except for the body parts. Now, if you subscribe to that school of thinking, undoubtedly things must be confusing for you. And in my opinion, that's why we got so many men running around behaving like women. Now, I done alluded to this topic in previous videos, but just know this. Regardless of what women tell you, they're hardwired to want a man to lead them. It's just part of a woman's biological makeup. Now you got these men out here who believe it's egalitarian or politically correct to say that men and women are equal. Now these are the same cats that try to transform saying yes dear, aka yes ma'am, to everything into being a virtue, or calling pleasing their woman's every little whim being a ladies' man, and thinking they a player for it. I'll show you, can't nothing be further from the truth. A woman want a man to lead her in every facet of the relationship. You hear me? They want to be led. This ain't to say that some women ain't capable of leading. Some are completely capable. I'm just trying to tell you what their preference is, regardless of the politically correct nonsense you might hear them regurgitate when you're conversating with one. Being dominant, alpha, leader, whatever you want to call it. That's being a ladies' man. And it serves as a warning to phony inferior men who might be contemplating testing you. But see, in today's world we got men who want to stand up here and argue all day long like women do. They're too blinded by today's gender homogenized society, unable to see the feminine implications that go along with two grown men heatedly verbally exchanging threats. What's that about? Take flight on them or keep it moving. Ain't no room for words. One example of what I'm talking about is these alleged gangster rappers running around with tight jeans and scarves around their neck, carrying duffel bag purses and making disc records. Probably getting manicures and pedicures and taking bubble baths, and then got the nerves of still thinking they alpha males. See, I think this kind of behavior just come from the men and women are the same, men and women are equal. It come from that kind of nonsense thinking, that nonsense that's forced on us since grammar school, all of which is derived from the parent virus, radical feminism. But that's not what I'm talking about in this video. I'm not advocating going around punching people in the face because they might have pissed you off just to prove that you're a man. But a Renaissance man, free from the constraints of today's politically correct approved thinking, he shouldn't be afraid to put hands on another man when he got to. Verbally threatening people, that's for women or physically weak males. You see what I'm saying? But anyways, above all those things, the defining characteristic of a Renaissance man, or just a man in general, is control of self. Not being coerced by fear or love, just resolute and satisfied with personal conduct. To me, that's the measure of a man. Being in control of your own personality and self-conduct seems to be something that a lot of men are struggling with nowadays. We see it all the time. A man who will modify his behavior just to please a woman. Another man, he'll modify his behavior just to avoid a fight. Or you take some other cat and he'll try to modify his behavior just to fit in with individuals out of his caliber. If you can't express your true self, especially when it comes to women, then you're walking into a setup from the very beginning. How can you expect to lead someone or gain their respect if you constantly modifying your behavior in hopes of pleasing them? Before you can lead, you got to know who you are and be confident about the knowledge of self that you possess. One aspect of my knowledge of self innately tells me to lead and not follow. That's the real me. When I'm with a woman, I don't really leave any decisions up to her. This ain't to say that I'm a tyrant and I ain't gonna entertain what she got to say, what her opinions is. But ultimately, I'll make the decision, even if it coincides with her opinions. That's just the result of me deciding the best choice, and not because it's what she want. You understand what I'm saying? I think women innately are attracted to alpha pioneering male personalities. And that's just what they truly desire. Even if one that's married to a yes ma'am nigga, she want the alpha pioneering male personality. Some men go back and forth with simple shit like, I don't know, baby. I just don't know. What do you want to do? What do you want to eat? You see the problem with that type of thinking? First you start off with all the I don't knows. You just lowered your respect right there with that phrase alone. And then to show how dumb you really are, you gonna compound the failures with, what do you want to eat? Now you just telling the woman that you need her to make the decisions because you too passive or too dumb to form one for yourself. On a subconscious level, you telling the woman that you're not deciding to be the leader. If you expect a woman to treat you like a leader, you have to first think like one and behave like one. Too many men is bitch made. Now, I'm not calling y'all man Johnny. I'm just saying you got too much estrogen to call yourself a man. I think many men out here is unsuccessful with women in their personal lives because society trained them to think that all women are of good stock, that all women are quality, and they should just be happy to be with one. I can't subscribe to that group thinking. That mentality, that's why so many men are desperate to, for anything with a vagina. You're willing to accept any type of behavior or quality from a woman just to say you got a regular girl. To me, that's amusing, straight up. Really though. Man, that whole approach right there is artificial. You're gonna inflate a woman's ego just to act like you're grateful to be around her, that she's simply acknowledging you. You got these chumps who think, they gotta apologize for woman. Excuse me, I don't mean to bother you. Just to meet her. They want to meet the woman, so they gotta apologize just to meet her. Or they be smiling the whole time while she be talking, or leaning in all extra close so they don't miss one word, like they ain't never heard a woman speak before. I'm the opposite. I don't like a woman who talk too much. You know what I'm saying? I'm not shy or apologetic about approaching a woman, or a group of women for that matter. I don't wrestle with notions of rejection because I know that she needs to be my standard and it's not the other way around. Does she talk too much? Is she loud? Does she seem to be attracted to drama? Is she talking back to me? These are the questions I'm asking myself. Simply put, if she's not up with my game plan, then she's out of there. She's chalked. She's gone. Charging her to the game. If she don't listen, she a liability. Ain't nothing further to discuss. Now there's 160 million women just in America alone. So that's plenty of targets you can practice on. If it's women that you after, then you got to put the woman to the test from the very outset so you can quickly begin to assess what caliber of woman you working with. Women and men, in my opinion, are clearly not the same. Women and men are certainly not equal in the cultural liberal sense defined by modern Western society. Realizing this, being in control of this knowledge is an integral part and the beginning of a Renaissance man. You got to know your turf, know what to accept and reject, and know your woman most of all if you plan to lead and mold her into the role that fits into your game plan. Am I making sense? Holla back at me. West Coast.